We're here in St Kilda, a suburb of Melbourne with around 20,000 residents, right on Port Phillip Bay. The name actually comes from a schooner that anchored here back in 1840, but more on that later. Over here you can see Christ Church, a neo-Gothic building from the 19th century. And this is Luna Park, the iconic landmark of St Kilda, with its very distinctive entrance. It opened in 1912, and the main attraction is a roller coaster that runs all the way around the park. It's completely made of wood, so at least there's no hydraulics that can break down. Right next to it is the Palais Theatre from 1927. The St Kilda Pier was built in 1855. It's a popular spot for joggers, families, fishermen, and even little penguins that come here. You also get a great view of Melbourne CBD from here. Along the waterfront there are plenty of cafés, restaurants and also quite a bit of art. For example, Dog Man and Rabbit Woman by the artists Gilly and Mark Shatner. They also created the sculpture The Wonderful Two, the rhinoceros. In summer it's really pleasant here. It can get quite hot, but there's usually a nice breeze coming in from the bay. Acland Street is the main street of St Kilda. It ends in a dead end, and it's also where tramline 96 terminates, which takes you straight into central Melbourne. The street is named after Sir Thomas Dyke Acland, who owned the schooner Lady of St Kilda, so that's where the connection comes from. The Aclands were an old family from Devon in England, and the name Acland actually comes from Oakland, meaning land of oaks. Everything in St Kilda has a bit of a grunge vibe, but in a really charming way. You'll even find wild cockatoos here. This one, for example, is sitting in an allotment garden near Acland Street. I also really like the Abbey Road restaurant. You can eat there morning, noon and night. Here we see the Smig rocket by David Wood, who also created the figures on the other side. The St Kilda Botanical Gardens opened in 1859. Rain Man is a sculpture in the pond where you'll also find ducks of various sizes. It's a small green oasis where you can really relax. Lots of nice little corners, nothing overly spectacular though, but very peaceful. There's also a rose garden. Here you can see an Australian magpie. And during certain times in summer, there's also the Sunset Cinema. The movies start when the sun goes down at around 8:30 p.m. And you get headphones for the sound. You can actually go swimming in St Kilda. Because it's inside Port Phillip Bay, the water is quite warm, around 20 to 22 degrees in summer. If you're looking for something more active, you can also take part in the 2XU Triathlon. It's centered around the Botanic Gardens. You start with a swim, then run out, grab your bike, do a little cycling, park it again, and finish with a run. event has a great atmosphere and people look really relieved when they cross the finish line. Beach volleyball is also very popular here, and they even have a referee. Kite surfing right by the pier used to be another highlight. These shots are from 2019. Meanwhile, it's been banned for some reason. Not entirely sure why. Maybe it bothered someone or there was an accident. Either way, it looked pretty spectacular. There's also a skate park right by the sea, a bit further to the left towards the east. The guys you see here really know what they're doing. And finally, I've put together a small collection of street art for you. It's not complete, but there are some really great pieces here. Sometimes you can find information online, for example the blog Inside My Melbourne by Mathias. I link it somewhere in the description. One important area for street art is Balaclava, where many of these works are located, but you'll also find pieces closer to the waterfront. The largest one is probably the portrait of Australian musician Paul Kelly, created by Scott Marsh. That's it for now. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're ever in the area, don't forget to stop by St Kilda. If you actually live there, you probably don't realize how lucky you are.